Good Friday evening, everybody. How is everybody? We got lots of people over here in the chat already. Who do we have over here? We have Herbie over here, Robin's over here, Mackenzie was here early. Herbie's here, Steve's here. I saw Dave Gatton somewhere. Some little hippie chick named Amanda's in here. Denise is here. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Tonight we have with us Jerry with Polly Wants a Crafter. You want to tell everybody where you're at, Jerry?
The only two that matter, Facebook and YouTube.
Facebook and YouTube. Polly Wants a Crafter. Amanda's going to throw links up to both of these gentlemen's channels in the chat. Mr. Matt Haas, how are you, sir?
Great, Jerry. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate you coming.
Doing
Where
fabulously.
Can find you all over.
Well, yes, I have many internet properties. So,
Look at that beautiful display he's got going on there. These are things we're going to discuss tonight. Matt just got done. If you're not following Matt, you need to go follow Matt. Matt has a lot of good advice on YouTube and tech things and even just some crazy things every once in a while. It just depends on what brand there that you're scoping out that he has. You can get a whole variety right there. But Matt is very knowledgeable and one of the friendliest people when it comes to tech that I know. We talked in Atlanta briefly, and I did not get. We somehow Atlanta got so messed up for everybody. We kind of got thrown off in different directions, and we're sitting at the restaurant going, "Where is everybody?" And everybody's like, "Well, they're all way over somewhere else." And then there's people over at Joel's place, and it's like, how did we all end up in 4 different locations? But anyway,
it's very chaotic, but fun.
Matt just got done setting up a remote studio. If you have followed Matt, he's got an awesome studio that he's in now, and that wasn't good enough. He had to move to another room.
I'm taking over the house.
What all was involved in you doing that, Matt? I mean, as far as, did you have to go get a bunch of extra stuff, or was it relatively simple for you to pull off?
There are a few specialty pieces of equipment that I needed. Other than that, it was relatively simple because I have a bit of a unique use case where I'm using the same computer, the same soundboard, and some capture cards for the video stream. I'm not duplicating those items in the new studio. So what I've essentially done is I've run 8 audio video cables up into the attic and then down the wall. So I just have cameras and microphones and headsets and this little Stream Deck thing, which helps control those overlays. Those items are 50 feet away from this location. So in that respect, it's a pretty simple process of running very long cables to another part of the house. You could think of it as this is the producer studio where someone could be on the soundboard and pushing all the buttons and talking in the ear of the host and the co-host. And then the other studio could be the talent area with just, the people who are performing and the cameras and the microphones. So that's what I've done. On paper, it's rather simple, but it was a 3-week endeavor with drills and running cables and doing other home maintenance-y type stuff to get it to work.
Yeah, I've run my share of cables through houses, and it was funny that I saw your video pop up, and I instantly turned my head because right over there I have a tube over there that has 2 different size 6-foot drill bits, and then the fiberglass rods for fishing down through walls. I always People want stuff put in phone, even if it was just a phone or a new cable connection in a room. I'm like, let me do it right. Don't let's not just drill holes through the house and run them through the floor, and let's do it
Right.
right. So I applaud you for doing that.
Well,
So
thank you.
you're basically just remote desktoping then to operate everything in there. Is that how that's working?
Well, no, it's since all the equipment is connected with a wire, it's as it's as if I'm in one location. It's just that the cameras aren't in this room, they're in the next room. And like
But
this microphone's not in this room, it's in the next room, but it's all connected over here.
but like using the mouse on your computer, is that just a wired mouse?
It's a wired mouse.
Okay.
I was using the Bluetooth of like the uh,
Right.
and I bought a Bluetooth keyboard, and they both worked 18 feet away because the where I'm using it is 18 feet. Now it's 50 feet when you
Right.
account for the cable going up,
Up and
over, and
over.
then down.
Right.
But Bluetooth will work 18 feet. And when I tested it, it worked just fine. But then when I actually got going, it would work fine for 14 minutes and then sort of glitch out for the 15th minute and then the 16th minute to the 20, you know. So there were little spots where it got kind of shaky. So now I'm all hardwired. Yep.
Nice.
So it's a wired mouse, wired keyboard. This is wired to the USB cable, and then everything else is either on HDMI, on audio cables for the headsets, or XLR cables for the nice microphones. That's what I got.
My next major purchase, I think, if I'm good to myself before Christmas, I want to get a Stream Deck. But I probably should learn how to use OBS and everything else first.
I highly
Um,
recommend the Stream Deck. Highly
see,
recommend.
Jerry up here with all of his cameras, he was in here playing earlier. Even has a microscope hooked up in there. Now you set up a completely separate studio from what you had before in the house, right?
Oh yeah, it's in a different room. It has different furniture. Yes, it's a second studio, but it's all tapped into the equipment here in this. So if I go to this camera, this is the soundboard. This is the Rodecaster Pro. My computer is behind this monitor, so it's there. I have capture
Wow.
cards, which are hard to get a hold of. Here's one. I don't know if you can even see it. Well,
Oh
trust.
yeah,
Put
yeah, yeah,
something white behind it.
yeah.
That little odd shaped piece of plastic that takes the HDMI out of the camera and turns it into USB, so the computer will think it is a webcam. So it takes very high end mirrorless cameras and changes them into what the computer thinks is a webcam. That's how you can use the nice mirrorless camera with the nice lens with the big glass and get the fuzzy background. See how my background's kind of all fuzzy?
I
That's what you get from a
I had two
nice camera.
capture cards and I gave them away because I didn't see the use in them. But now that you put it like that, that would have solved a lot of my problems today if I could have gotten HDMI out of the situation.
Yeah.
Because I'm just using right now regular webcams, but I'd like to be able to like use my DSLR, but I can't with the setup that I have.
Well, see, webcams don't have a very low aperture, and a low aperture on the computer will let in more light.
Right.
And so that's how I am very, not only am I very well lit because of the I've got key lights
Good
everywhere,
Lord.
but it's also the lens of the camera that I'm using is very open.
Yeah,
So that,
these are just cheap little web cameras that I have here. They're better than the ones I had. When I put something in front of my face, that gonna help. The
that
problem is I have no lighting in front of me at all.
yeah.
That's my whole problem. And then we have four things of pure daylight up above me here.
Well, with the hat casts a shadow over your face. You can't perceive any. There you go.
Yeah.
That improved it.
Yeah, I didn't want to wearing a hat because I got a Band-Aid on my head. But you can still see the Band-Aid.
Well, that's all good. Now,
I
Jerry's got some good light going on with his Jerry from Play
yeah,
Once a Crafter.
yeah.
He's got a
But
lot of
what
light.
is that? Like
He's got a
100,000 luminous there?
soft box. Oh,
Can you
he's on
hear
mute.
us, Jerry?
He just unmuted.
Can you hear us, Jerry?
Wow. Yeah, that's you could tell that that's really illuminating his face, even underneath the brim, because it's a
Right.
straight on shot.
Well, I did have some LEDs in here, but it was just insane. I don't know. I guess that's what you have to do. It's just I feel like I'm squinting all the time because it's so bright.
Nah, that your eyes get used to it. I even have one behind me. See how my hair is sort
Yeah.
of lit? That separates me from the background. So that's
Oh,
called a rear hair light, and I think that's that because this image is just one image. Like you're not seeing me with your left and right. Like it's not a stereo image. So without the hair light, it can kind of feel like you're just part of the background, even though obviously not.
right.
But
You
this,
almost look like you're sitting in front of a green screen.
a lot of people have asked me that, but it's not. It's a real
No, I
set.
know, but it's just because you're so crisp and clear out there,
Yeah,
you look like you're in front of a green screen.
that's
So if I
that's.
put one of those bright lights behind me, I won't look as bald. Is that what you're telling me?
It'll pick up the peach fuzz on top.
I'm not as bald as everybody thinks I am. It's just that this light. I mean, I am a little bald, but it's not as bald as I look. It's just so blonde.
So you
can't see
do
it.
have a light behind you and above you, so that's good. You need one in front of you, sir.
Yeah, yeah. I like the accent lights that you
Oh yeah,
have in the back.
these are crazy. These are exterior flood lamps. They are no joke.
I ordered a set of them. I don't know where they are at the moment.
Like this will illuminate a house. It's really overkill, but I like the look. I like the
Yeah,
effect.
it looks good. I really like it.
Even got a little red light here. I have a light on the beaver. Like that is. This is. I really went nuts with it. Watch this. So the the beaver has its own light. See how it's going on and off?
Oh Lord.
And then the MIDI monkey in the back, he has his own light too. I can turn that on. See that? Now it's back on. It's just ever so subtle. Can you tell?
Yeah.
And the same thing with the xenomorph. That's going on. Yeah, and then the behind the TV, there was a little dark back there. So that has its own light, and then the closet has its. Anyway,
That's insane.
I
All controlled by
scrutinized.
your phone.
Yeah, controlled by the phone. I scrutinize everything. A lot of this is I bought those Casa smart plugs that
Oh,
can
yeah.
be on and off. It's like an on and off switch controlled by Wi-Fi. So some of them are that, and then some of them are the app that came with the light. This red one and that one had its own.
I've watched a few YouTube videos here lately where people would have a TV in the background, and none of them are as clear as yours is. Is there
Oh,
something
well,
you've done to cause that?
It's as clear as it is. It's not as perfect as I would like because it is the bokeh effect is there because it is blurry. Now if I move away, it'll get more in focus.
Right. Yep.
But it's also has that see that dark strip going up.
Yeah.
That is an artifact of the frame. It's partial frame rate and partial something else. I can't quite get rid of it. I would need a much more expensive TV that would control the frame rate in order to get rid of that. Or I could drop down to 30 frames a second and then
If you look at mine, it looks like you can see the air in here, and it's these lights. It's the flicker or the pulse of these LEDs.
yeah.
And if I drop to 30, then they look like black lines crawling up the wall. So
It is something you constantly fight with. I was going to put, if you're going to believe this or not, you're probably not going to believe it. I was going to put 4 edgeless televisions behind me in the new studio, but I couldn't solve this problem. Like, you know,
right.
I didn't want to invest all that money in 4 large televisions just to have it look like crap. I would have to stream at probably 30. I would have to, I don't know, sacrifice something else in order to get it to work.
Right.
Or I could buy really expensive TVs. Like I just wanted to buy 4 cheapos.
Right.
But I don't think I would have had to really shell out for that. So
Denise wants to know if that's a smart TV.
well, it has the Roku in it. Does that mean it's a smart TV? So yeah.
Yeah.
All my TVs have Roku built in. Now you can get them with the Fire TV built in, and you can get it with the Google TV built in. I like the Rokus. I only buy TVs with the Roku.
Dave Gatton says you ain't all that until you have a little beaver. Mackenzie says she has beaver envy.
I won this beaver playing whack-a-mole, which, if you don't know, I am the self-proclaimed whack-a-mole champion of the world. I never lose at that game. I am dialed into that. So it's just something I like to do for fun.
So I see you got your disco ball going. You pleasing the audience.
Yeah, and I figured out my microphone.
Okay, good.
It's got a mute button on the microphone.
So
I don't have a disco ball, but I do have.
No, Jerry's got a disco ball going on in the background back there.
Yeah. I can turn those lamps on back there.
Actually, I thought that was a street light, like a European street light.
Oh no, they're like police bubbles, but I don't know where that app is. I can't turn that. I used to have these jacked into the super chats. Then you gave me a super chat, and then the blue one would come on for $1. This one would come on for $3 or more, and this one would come on for $5. They'd all. It was kind of a fun thing, but
Ryan Hall has his super chats tied into the recessed lighting in his room.
yeah.
I don't know how he's done that, but they flash off and on.
That's done with If This Then That. There's a free. Used to be a free web service. Now I think you got to pay for it. Called ifttt.com. It's an acronym for If This Then That, and then you say if such and such thing happens on the internet, then do that, and then it does some sort of web executable process. Like for example, if there's a frost alert, you could send a text message to yourself because weather is on the internet, and internet technology can detect when the weather hits a certain condition, and then you can send text alerts. Or if the Awesome Wood Things YouTube channel gets a super chat of $3 or more, then turn on the smart outlet that you've paired with it. So it's an awesome service. My brother wanted to buy a kettlebell, and so I did. If Craigslist Harrisburg, because I live in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, detects a product in the weightlifting category with the keyword kettlebell, text the URL to my brother's cell phone. Like that's what this service can do. That's how you turn the lights on with super chats, as you use that service.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's getting really nerdy. Like that's getting geeky, but it's a lot of fun. There's something endearing where you could be watching your favorite streamer, you take an action at your house, and then something physical changes in the environment in real time, like a light going on. It's a fun thing people like to do.
He's about as excited as that as Raj and what's his name were when they made the light come on around the world by the computer. You remember that? Did you ever watch Big Bang Theory?
Yes,
On the
yes.
Big Bang Theory when they made the light come on and it turn off around the world.
Yeah, Rajesh. Yeah,
Yeah, Raj and Howard. Yeah.
yeah.
No.
Kelly
Well,
Coco.
Jerry, what have you done? Have you done what Matt's done, or have you set up totally standalone studio out here in your shop now?
This is a standalone only in my shop. I started building it pretty heavy in the house, but it was too dark, even with the new softbox, which is a 57, I'm sorry, a 50 watt LED, 500, 5400K, whatever that is. Really bright. But I set it all up out here, basically watching Matt's stuff. And then when I tried to do all the neat stuff he does, I found out he was on the Mac. And Ecamm doesn't work for the Windows. So I had to go with OBS Studio.
Yeah, and now I tried OBS Studio today, and you saw how that was. I end up coming in with one camera's black and one camera's gray.
Well, listen, I started in OBS Studio because OBS Studio runs on Mac or PC and even Linux, if you believe it.
Yes.
And it is a very capable piece of software. It is just as capable as what I'm using on the Mac. It's just the learning curve is a little bit trickier for OBS Studio because it can do so much. And when you have a lot of features, you have a lot of buttons and knobs and switches and drop down menus and radio buttons, and it gets a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah, see, I can't do that. I just need to have buttons or a place to go that when I want to put this up on the screen, that comes up. And StreamYard, you can do overlays and different things, and they're rolling out more and more, but you can't do picture in picture. You know, there's a lot of you're really limited with that.
Well, StreamYard is a web-based service, and that comes with many limitations.
Yes.
Yeah.
But its benefit is it's super easy to learn.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's almost stupid proof. These are 6,000 watt or 6,000 K up here. So what you're telling me is I need to put one over here and one over here, blasting at my face so I look good on here.
That's what I'm telling you. Yes.
Well, it's kind of nice because instead of focusing on the camera, I'm blinded by that light.
Yeah, that.
Well,
We did this once. I had lights up here, but I have videos where I'm on here and I look oriental. My eyes are so shut.
Now, mine are not directly in front of me. Mine's one. This is off a little bit angled, and then this is another one, and then the one behind me. So this isn't that bad. Looking at my setup, it's not very harsh at all.
Yeah. And I've got some of those in the house I'll eventually bring out here. I just haven't had time.
Yeah.
And I built the black iron bars to put up on the roof so they're hanging down.
Smart. You're a smart one, Jerry. You know what's going on.
But it's definitely a lot darker without this thing on.
See, this is the cheat code, folks. Just throw light. It makes any camera 5 times as better. Oh, Jerry, look at you. That is so much better. It really is a cheat code. I had a this C920 webcam. That's just a little $120 jobby. I had these same 3 lights going with that webcam, and it looked really good. Like if you throw a truckload of light on any camera, the camera will look so much better.
That's what the big 3 clear ones are. They're C920s.
Yeah, looks great.
And this bottom one is a Microsoft Wheatcam.
That
not the
one's
greatest.
struggling a bit, but yeah.
That's why I got the C920s.
Yeah.
I was just testing out way too many cameras today.
If C920s are when they're properly lit, they're great. If they're not properly lit, they fall off fast. Yeah.
Mm. See, I don't know how you're getting all of that to work in here. When I try using OBS and StreamYard tells me my cameras are busy.
Well, I mean, using OBS and StreamYard simultaneously, that's kind of like a power move. I mean, you
That's
you
what
don't,
he's doing.
I know, but it comes with a little bit more complications when you do it that way. There's
Yeah, I'll have to
there
do
are
more.
videos for this everywhere. Just do a YouTube search and you'll find all kinds of ways to configure OBS.
Everybody's saying we all sound like 1960s AM echo chamber.
Uh-oh. Check 1, check 2.
Is it StreamYard? Can you hear me now? The band quit.
Put some music on.
Did that make the weird echo go away? It's not really an echo. It's the brewery behind us. Their outdoor band is playing.
Well, I think there's an echo when we talk, but I'm not listening on YouTube.
I'm not listening on YouTube. I'm not even on YouTube.
Let us know if there's audio problems. Mostly Matt, it says. Uh-oh. Something going on with me?
Oh. Oh.
Only
Can't
when
be
Matt
Matt.
speaks.
Matt's the only one here that knows what's going on. Well, Jerry does. Jerry's like, what are you doing? He's on camera?
Yeah.
Bubby's on camera?
Who's being good boys?
I'm going to listen to the stream, see what we got.
Put a do-rag on my head. Here, see, I figured this out.
No, sounds good to me on stream.
This
I don't
is
know.
how we solved the lighting problem on my face.
Obscure your face. Done and done.
Okay, so I posted it in my in Living Beyond Disability group, but Mr. Jerry here last week, or was it last week? It was the weekend before. Is it 2 weeks now or 1 week? I can't even remember now. A week ago?
Get that mic a little closer, please, Jerry.
A week ago? Was it a week ago? 2 weeks ago? Whenever it was, we were in a hangout and
Yeah, just last week.
after the last show, last Friday, and we were talking about computers, and was trying to do everything I was doing from a laptop that would constantly give me blue screens of death, and just I've not had good success. So I tried to order a computer from Tiger Direct last fall, and UPS contacted me and told me that it was an empty box and they were throwing it away, and Tiger Direct said that's all I ordered was a box for hundreds of dollars, and then they finally agreed that something was wrong on their end, and then long and the short of it, they sold me a computer they didn't have. So then they scrambled to try to send something incorrectly to me while they looked for something. Well, then they finally came clean on it and said, well, we have 90 days from the date of your claim to pay you, and we'll pay you in February, and that's the way they left it. So I didn't get paid till mid-February for a computer I ordered in December. Well, actually the end of November sometime, but anyway. So we were talking about it, and I was like, could you give me a suggestion for a cheap alternative for a computer? So he starts, $600-800 computers. Not in my budget right now. So I just kind of laughed at him, and he's like, well, give me your address and I'll send you one of these 100 I got here. And I'm like, you can't do that. And he's like, I got a bunch of them. So I'm like, okay, if he's got that many and he wants to send me something, I figure, it's got to be better than what I have, and I can always upgrade it or whatever. So then I think it was later that night, he sends me a text message with a tracking number for this computer. He just went and ordered a brand new one, and then tried to say, well, it was going to cost me too much to send you one of mine, or some stupid shit like that.
Wow. That's amazing.
Just selfless act. And
For sure.
And it's like, we were talking about that before you came in, Matt. There's a lot of great people in this entire community, both of you included, that go out of your way to help other people and never ask anything in return. he did this for me and told me that I didn't need to tell anybody that he did it. And I was like, were you telling me I can't? And he's like, well, I'm not saying that you can't. And he's like, I'm just telling you don't have to. I'm like, well, you know, I had somebody else help me out last year, but they didn't want me to say anything. So, you know, I just say it's a good friend and leave it at that. You know, I'll
Jerry
respect
is
somebody's
very
wishes.
selfless, which is
Yeah.
a good character trait to have.
But it's like, I don't know. I've helped out quite a few people over the years in this community, and we had a conversation about it. But I just cannot thank him enough for what he's done. It's going to be a game changer for me to be able to learn fusion and finish learning fusion on something that's not going to keep crashing, and I can actually save my designs too, and maybe actually create something useful one of these days here real soon. But I want to thank both of you for what you do for others to help others out, and it doesn't have to be the monetary things that you do. It's the advice that you give, the willingness to help others, and I, for one, want to thank both of you for that.
Well, I love doing what I'm doing. I love teaching. I love is there a speaker in your environment of when I speak and when Jerry speaks?
In
Yeah.
mine,
I think that's what people are hearing on the chat. When Jerry and I talk, there seems to be a reverb. I think there's a speaker in your shop that's
In mine?
playing and is bleeding into your microphone and going back out.
it's never done that before.
Do you have headphones? If you turn your external
I
speakers
can't-
off
I
and
can't
use
wear- I can't
headphones,
use
then
headphones.
okay. But no, I love learning, and when you teach, you actually learn a heck of a lot when you're in the process of teaching. So it's something I've been doing for a long time. I started teaching Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop and Quark Express, if you remember that, this was decades ago in the college that I graduated from. I taught
That was back when you
evening
were chiseling
classes.
the pictures in stone, right?
So I also like I like when people do not make mediocre YouTube videos. I'm a big fan of doing some things differently. You don't need expensive gear. You don't need to spend a lot of time. You just need to make good editing decisions, capture good footage from the get-go, and then tell a good story. And you can have great content on YouTube. And that's what I like. There's a lot of mediocre stuff on YouTube. Let's get it better. I help a lot of people do that, and I enjoy it because I love YouTube. YouTube's an awesome platform. It can literally be the source for entertainment and education.
Oh, and a lot of misinformation too.
Well, but put it this way: if you have something to say, if you have consumer level gear, even just your phone, and you can make good videos, you can reach a worldwide audience. You don't need anyone's permission. You can have people from all over the world hearing you and seeing you and getting your content. You don't need to go through a television producer and beg to get airtime. You don't need to get a radio show on broadcast radio. You don't need to get venture funding to have a commercial movie. You can do it yourself, and there's a platform where you can put videos on for free. The times we live in are amazing. I know there's a lot of
Yeah, but
sadness in this world,
but those broadcast networks and these channels, they have an audience. You can create the best video in the world, but if you can't get it in front of people, nobody will ever see it.
that's where I help people. I help people grow an audience. My All Things YouTube channel, it should really be called a How to Grow an Audience channel, because that's really what I'm doing. But How to Grow an Audience doesn't sound as nice as All Things YouTube.
Right.
But that's really what I'm teaching people to do, is get the audience. and retain them, because you got to get them clicking and you got to get them watching. It's one thing just to get them clicking. They've got to actually watch your video most of the way through. That's the
Right.
tricky part.
Right.
And that's where you can tell a story better, and that's where you can make better editing decisions, and that's where you can capture the footage correctly the first. Like, there's a lot of things you can do that don't cost money, don't take more time. You just do it the proven.
Well, I never got really good at the whole doing YouTube videos and editing thing. I would set up multiple cameras and record 30 hours of video on 6 different cameras, and I was over the video 3 hours of trying to edit.
Yeah.
You know, I never could get the hang of this is what I need to show, and I don't need to show all this other. So my thing became more of doing like Facebook Lives. And back in the day, we could pull 100, 130 people in a Facebook Live. And in my situation now, since the stroke and the traumatic brain injury, I think I'm probably going to stick more with the live, so it's more the raw me, who I am and what I'm doing. Might not always be good, but what's a good editing program on iPhone?
iMovie, it's free.
I could have answered that one.
Yeah, iMovie iPhone app is a good editing program for iPhone. And, you know, live streams, they require a lot less futzing with because you're live. So
Right.
in many respects, live streams are much, much easier. But the question is, are they better? And that's where, see, you're not pulling the numbers for many factors. And this isn't just a situation with you, Jerry. It's a situation with everyone. First, there's more people doing it, so you have more competition.
Right, right.
Second, everyone's getting better. So they are doing their show prep. They're bullet pointing their topics. They're keeping things on track. They're not letting conversations meander and go on, you know. And some people are doing the fancy stuff where they're putting, you know, overlays and things
I quit doing the list. We make the list, but then we never even go over what's on the list.
But, you know, it's live streams have their place. And there's always edge cases, but the easiest formula for success on YouTube is to do edited videos and then also do live streams. A 100% channel of live streams only, it's hard to grow an audience because people jump in at all different times. And like, are you delivering killer content at that moment when someone jumps in the live stream? You might not be. It's hard to get new viewers into a live stream. You can do it. People do it. It's much easier to get a 6-minute edited video where everything's nice and tight. It's all the information is there. Topic.
All right, you just said 6 minute, and everything that I've been watching here lately says that your videos need to be a minimum of 8 minutes.
No, they need to be 8 minutes in order to force a mid-roll ad and so that's what people are gunning for because they want the most money out of everything.
I hate that. I click out of those. But well.
The length of the video should be exactly as long as it needs to be. If you're delivering 3 minutes of content, it should be 3 minutes. If it's 6 or 8 or 10 or 20.
And see, that's one of those things. When I did my my shop air cleaner, the that drew from the 3 different sides. I don't even remember what I called that thing, but everybody kept telling me that my video needed to be within this short amount of time. And I'm like, I did Morris and Tenon joinery on this thing. You know, I went way overboard on it. I don't know how I cover that in 7 minutes, but I did it, and the video really was horrible.
Look, I took. There was a process of breaking down a scroll saw, tearing it apart, lubricating certain items and repairing typical things that go wrong, and then reassembling it. And there were 4 45-minute live streams demonstrating this process. And I watched every frame of that. This was on someone else's channel. I did the same thing myself, shot it, edited it down for 9 minutes. And that's a long video for me. And that is my 4th most popular video. So I essentially took 6 hours worth of content and got it down to 9 minutes. And it's exactly what you need to know. And it's not like repeating. If I had to take off one screw, I showed me doing it once and then times 20 speed through the next 19. If I was doing mortise and tenon, now not for this video, but if I was doing something in your example, Jerry, I would show me doing the process once and then maybe rifle through a bunch of the duplicate procedures. When you're doing a making video, it's usually you do the same thing several times. You don't need to show it every single time. You just need to show it a minimum of once, usually 2 or 3 times, and then.
But there was things that I did that I thought were amazing. Like when I was assembling this thing and I was banging joints together, I was making a statement about how we are all too quick to cut corners for ourselves that we wouldn't do for other people. And every time I made the impact, I would bang one of the things together and I would put it together and then I would hit the impact word, but nobody ever caught that. And I spent hours trying to make that one little 15-second thing work, and it was like so defeating. Now, my Jerry's Machines channel, I haven't posted anything over there. How long did we figure, Jerry? We went over there and looked last week. Years. It's been years. And it grows every day.
Here's something that'll blow you away. I spent 2 weeks shooting 15 seconds.
Yeah, no, I'm out.
That was insane. I had a situation where I took a knife and I plunged it into something, but the way I shot it, I built a rig that made the knife and the camera locked together. And then I plunged the whole rig into the item. So when you watch the video footage back, the knife and my hand stayed in the same spot and the box went up into the knife. It was quite the visual. I don't know how to describe it. It was unexpected. And
was it worth 2 weeks?
It was worth 2 weeks, and it was 15 seconds. I was like, this is insane.
Back when I was doing Jerry's Machines, though, to me, I needed to get 15 seconds worth of video in 7 seconds because I didn't have time. So I couldn't have been bothered. A lot of the stuff, what's so fascinating? We went over there and looked. In one of the big groups, maker groups, there was a little bit of an argument about lunchbox planers. And I was like, I don't care how big of an in-feed and out-feed table you put. You can put a pass-through table if you want to through there. The problem is the head rocks. When the board hits that first roller, it rocks the head. The knives come down. It snipes into it till it hits the next roller, levels it off, and it's good to go till that next roller drops off, the knife drops down. They rock.
Yeah.
And I showed it in a video because I was basically told that I didn't know what I was talking about, so I showed it in a video, and then I did a recap of that video. Those are my 2 most viewed videos, and they're way up there.
See,
but I spent no time on them. It was picked up my phone, and I was like, listen here, you. And it's a very popular video.
Let me take a gander at why it's so popular. It's my assessment, just listening to your description without watching the video, it's a very searchable video. It will do this. It's a searchable video. You you answered a question someone had on the internet, and your video was the answer to the question, meaning the search terms people are using matched what your content was. See, when you do the a live stream, like, you know, and your live stream is name of the live show, episode number, and date, like that's not a very searchable type of environment. So like, but if it was Jerry's Machines talking about live studios, which is similar to what you wrote, like that's a good title. Like there's ways to title your stuff
Well,
that are more conducive to search results and ways to do it without.
if you go back and look on this channel and you see those episode 1, episode whatever, and then you see the ones that actually have good names, those ones that are named episode blank, they're named episode blank, so they're not that searchable because they're not that good of content, and they really don't need to be going out.
Yeah.
So it was a way to hide them right in plain view.
Sure.
But if it's something like this was worth something, so it was like I tried to, but I got frazzled because I was, especially after I talked to you, I started screwing up everything, all the posts everywhere. I couldn't figure out what I had posted where. I was like,
yeah, YouTube is a fun. It's a fun platform because the platform reflects and accurately gives you data about how people are engaging with your stuff. So you can put a piece of content on YouTube and you can, through the analytics of YouTube, through the studio panel that they give you, you can really understand what's resonating with people and what's not resonating with people, what things are getting clicked on and what things aren't getting clicked on. When people are leaving your video, did they watch the first 2 minutes and leave? Did they watch the first 4 minutes? Like you can see the trends of what people are doing, and and if you start analyzing your videos after they're posted and check them the next day and check them 3 days out and check them a week out, you can get a feel for what's resonating with your audience. Then you can do more of the things that they liked and you can do less of the things that they didn't like. And that's how you get the retention up, video after video.
You should see the analytics on our 100-hour live stream of putting puzzles together for New Year's. Nobody can watch it because it's not playable. But during that 100 hours that we were live, we got several thousand hours of watch time.
It is crazy at what resonates and what doesn't resonate. Like there are some stupid things out there that people cannot get enough of. And then here you are pouring your heart and soul into show prep and doing something, like every section of the live stream is figured out. And, you know, you got overlays for everything and weird glitches, hearts. And then no one likes it. Like you could try. No one likes it. Then you do something stupid and people just love it. Like I'm embarrassed. There is a video on Awesome Wood Things that I want to take down, but it's my 4th most popular video. I tried to do humor, which was very snarky and a very dry humor, like kind of, and it did not work. I came off like a jerk. But people cannot watch that video enough. And I think it's because it has an equal ratio of up and down votes, which tells YouTube the people that like it are going to like it, and the people that don't like it are going to watch it the whole way through because they don't like it. And then I did other things where I put red arrows and circles on the thumbnail. A red circle on your thumbnail, that's like a moth to flame. Like humans cannot skip over a thumbnail with a red freaking circle on. They're like, I want to know more about that red circle. They're going to click the video. So I want this thing off the internet, but it's racking up the watch time and it's racking up the all the ads.
Well, That's like what I was telling you. My most popular video is me literally using my phone,
Yeah.
and I all but said, "Listen here, you son of a, this is why it does this." I was mad, and I didn't mean to post it to Facebook. I meant to post it to Facebook, and I posted it to my YouTube channel. And all of a sudden, I started
Emotions.
getting all these notifications, and everybody's like, "This is great," and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's on my YouTube," and everybody's like, "Leave it." And I'm
People
like,
love
"Yeah, but that was not," and they're like, "Leave it."
people
You
love
know, so
emotion. You were
well,
emotional. That resonates.
we were up for 100 hours. It was 99 point something hours live stream. It was supposed to be a 72-hour live stream countdown to New Year's, and we were
Oh,
going to do puzzles.
yeah.
We did how many puzzles? 13,
I don't know. I needed a vacation after that.
Wow.
ranging from a couple of thousand to, or a couple
Like
hundred to a couple thousand.
3,000?
No, that was the biggest one we have. It was a 3,000 piece puzzle.
Mm.
So we had done some insane, like 100,000 pieces, and all we had left was the 3,000 piece puzzle of puzzle pieces. That's what this puzzle is a 3,000 piece puzzle of different colored puzzle pieces.
Oh
And everybody
no.
was mad because we were like ending the live stream. I'm like, we've been doing this going on 4 days. It's time to quit.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh,
I even did the extra dog thing.
oh yeah, it was insane, and it's like you said, it's crazy
You
how
know, what
how
resonates
people
with
get
people?
attracted to certain things, but it comes right back to the adage of we as a society are sick-minded people. We flock to train wrecks, and
Mm,
we want to see a good train wreck. We don't, in our heart, we don't want to see anybody get hurt, but on the flip side of that, we want to see the train wreck. You know what I mean?
well,
So
that's why
we're
Jerry
a
Springer is
twisted
so popular.
we're a twisted people in general.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's everyone has their what they like and what they don't like, but emotions usually get clicks. Mad, happy, over the top, anything over the top is it
I'll just let you
resonates.
know that you can watch about 12 hours a day, 9 days straight before you run out of train wrecks on YouTube. I did it.
That's true.
All right,
There
we've
was I
kind of
forget.
went down another road, and we haven't let Jerry tell us what he's done out here. We've talked and talked and talked. Tell us, Jerry.
I
What have
leave
you
it to
done?
the experts.
There's only one expert here.
Well, Matt, but
He can't tell us what you did in your shop.
um, okay, we'll start from the wall. I ran internet from the house to here, and then I ran it from there to here, which is a long run.
All right,
And then,
now you said you ran it from the house to out there. Did you run it from the back of a router to out there and then into another router to where you are?
yeah, I actually have 5 routers in the run because it's about 500 feet to the other side of the house where the internet comes in.
And that's not causing an issue?
I'm streaming 4 cameras live right now.
All right, is it a Wi-Fi 6?
No Wi-Fi. It's all hardwire.
It's all Ethernet.
Cat 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I meant, what did I say? What I
Ethernet.
meant?
Cat 5.
Yeah, is it
Cat
Cat 5 or
5
Cat
E
6?
or Cat 5?
8 wire.
Okay.
Let me see.
5 is the older spec. 5E and 6 are the newer
Yeah,
spec.
it's 5E,
5E. There you go. Good man. Good man.
but no need
Yeah.
for Cat 6 yet.
I only
Okay.
have 5
5E is
out
just
here,
fine.
and it's terrible because,
Charles Deering's out there. Hi, Charles. He's
hey,
saying hi to me.
Charles, we've got a 100-foot run through the house to where the modem is in here to this cheap Linksys router. And right here we're good, but if I run that extra 75 feet out to the other shop, no internet.
Yeah.
It drops bad.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi is a very chatty protocol.
Oh no,
I'm
hardwired.
surprised it even works.
I mean, it's all hardwired. I'm plugged in from one
Oh.
to another all the way out, but by the time I get out there, I have nothing, and I think it's because this 100 foot of Cat 5. I think if I change that to Cat 6 or the Cat 5e or whatever, it would do better.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Easy, bye-bye.
Okay, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
That was just to get internet out here. We were testing it. It's still running at almost a gigabit, 100 megabytes per second. It's pretty close. The upload was 16, which is pretty solid for video. And then I brought this system out, the same computer that you have now.
Awesome computer.
And my 920 cameras, I got 3 of those. Those are just for streaming things like the scroll saw that's all the way across the shop, way over by that other speaker back there.
Is that hardwired?
That is
Bluetooth.
it's hardwired. I can't get to the line here. Get the right cable.
Okay.
It's a USB line that's just ran across to that tripod way over there.
Okay.
And I've got more coming for longer because this is just stretched. And I want to get 2 cameras at least when I'm over on the scroll saw or the lathe.
So you gonna start being a scroll sawer now?
Well, if Charles can do it.
I think you were around long enough to remember back in the day when I used to scroll saw. It's so funny now when we talk about it and everybody's like, I don't have a clue what I'm talking about. You just go back and look at my Jerry's Machines Facebook page. There's lots of scroll saw crap on there.
Yeah.
Don't be
But
hating.
I do all the weird stuff, and I'm hoping that's going to be my thing. I cut up a Ken doll.
Yeah, you told me that last week. What was that for?
I'm going to make them into the Star Wars Cantina aliens from the
Oh,
band.
fun.
Okay.
So
I'll
I cut
I'll
it
let
up
y'all
so I
talk
can-
the Star Wars stuff. I don't know nothing about that.
I can run articulating wire so I can move them around because Ken dolls are plastic.
Right.
But
You should have got you a Stretch Armstrong.
yeah, those are $80 on eBay. But yeah, I do weird stuff. Clay resin, wood, glass, metal. I can't do metal
When
in
are
here
you going
though.
to finish up some of the projects you've already got started before you take on new ones?
I'm going to die before I finish up any projects, I think.
You got to get the talking trash can going.
Yeah, he's a big one. I've spent a lot of money on him. And I've got a lot of parts that I've picked up over the years.
WD-40 or whatever it's called. What is it?
Yeah.
What is it called?
OU81. R2D2.
Yeah. WD-40 R2D2.
He's going to be an actual film prop replica. But
Those are crazy when people
I've
make
also
those.
joined, I'm on the Dalek building site, which is the robot from Doctor Who. I'm on the B9 robot building site from Lost in Space. I'm on the Wall-E robot building site from the Wall-E Disney movie.
Now, I'd be all over you building a Wally.
I'm on all of them. Anything that's a robot.
I'm all about Wally now. I could see that, but WD-40, I mean, that's like 60 years ago, isn't it? Or whatever it is.
I've also got designs to turn a lawnmower into a robotic system so I don't have to go outside in the Texas heat.
Well, I can tell you how to do that for $10.
Yeah.
Well,
Go get you one of those screw in the ground dog leads and hook it to the lawnmower and screw it in the ground, start it, and go
It's the
sit
nice,
down. It'll
you know-
wind up into a big circle.
that's the nice, pretty old swirl in the yard. But yeah.
Then you just move it to the next spot.
Nothing like spinning metal blades going, non-human controlled, roving around your property.
I mean, that's now something I always wanted to get into was Robot Wars. I just didn't have that techie ability to me.
Yeah.
You can bet those in Vegas.
Really?
Oh yeah. They'll put odds on them.
They still doing that?
I don't think they're doing it, but at the time you could.
I don't. What happened to that craze? How did that die? I mean, that was really popular.
It was actually overran by a lot of the guys from ILM, so you had a lot of money and intelligence behind it. It was hard to compete.
Is it? I
It
mean,
was.
pretty. Well, I mean, it is, but
Well, I mean, those robots could run you $30,000-$40,000.
Yeah.
I
So
like
you want to go out there and get destroyed and come back smoking.
the spinner ones.
Yeah.
They had this tiny, tiny little spinner robot. It was like a half dome with spikes on it.
Yep.
But they over engineered it. First of all, it was like a solid metal ball. It was a lot heavier than you thought it would be. And it went full speed in like 2 seconds. The thing was unstoppable. These big machines with they would go like, the spiking daggers. This spinning thing would just go into it and just blow it up. I was like, oh man, I could watch that all day long.
Well, you know that you knew that what you were saying, Jerry, about the money and the techie was getting too deep. That's why they started putting the fire traps in the floors and the hammers and the other crap you could push people into to destroy the robot. You didn't have to build a robot to destroy the other one. You just had to be smarter and be able to move the other one. Put it in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do that in real life. I mean, I want to be in the robot.
Oh God.
But you know what? This comes back to what was that we were talking about not too long ago, Chase, where I said if you build 2 of them, they'll come, and then I was like, oh my God, here they are. What was that I was showing you? It's something just, oh, they're like giant big wheels with huge tires on them, and they're racing them in the sand. And this guy goes, I'm going to build another one so somebody can race me. Next thing you know, there's like 1,000 people out in the desert racing these giant big wheels on tires. And it's,
Sign me
if
up.
you build 2, they'll come. So,
Sign me up.
Yeah.
well, Matt, believe it or not, everything that we're doing here, and part of why Jerry got me this computer is to help with my designing, is we're going to build an exoskeleton. I'm going to walk again. It's just going to take somebody a lot smarter than me to help with the programming of it. I can build the thing. I just can't do the techie part of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of programming involved in that for sure.
Yeah. And then some pretty amazing scooters. It drives me nuts that somebody in my situation, I get stuck on an extension cord in this scooter. No joke. I've gotten stuck in the house on the vacuum cleaner cord. Stuck. Could not move.
Oh, you'd think it'd be able to blip right over it.
The motor, where the wheel is, the bottom side of the motor, you can't stick your finger between that motor and the floor. That's how tight it is.
Oh my.
Or an extension cord, or the cord to the vacuum cleaner. If you jump over that in the wrong way, it hangs on it, and all the chair will do is sit there and go in circles.
That's a design flaw for sure.
The dog's ball is even better.
Oh yeah, the dog's balls had me stuck. I got the first year that I was in this chair, I got stuck in the backyard for like 4 or 6 hours, something like that. I ended up in the hospital dehydrated because I went out in the backyard I didn't know that I couldn't go outside. I didn't take my phone with me, didn't have my Apple Watch with me, and I went outside and the chair got stuck in the yard. And I was stuck out there till the kids came by after work and found me.
Dean Kamen, who invented the Segway, he has a wheelchair that is self-balancing, and the wheelchair, like the 4 wheels on the wheelchair, it will go like this, and it can prop you up standing up height, and it doesn't
Right.
fall over because it has the servos, so it balances on 2 wheels, and it can even go up steps by going like this, and it'll just kind of rotate you up the steps where you're in a vertical position. Now you're sitting on the chair, but you're as tall as you are as if you would be standing.
But
That's
now that you
amazing.
said that, that's absolutely amazing. But the average person can't afford a chair
No,
like that.
I'm
number
sure
one.
it's
And
it's
number
multiple
two, that would
10,000s
be
of dollars.
so dangerous for somebody like me to be in that chair and something in that electronics fail and I was going up a set of stairs.
I know there's risks for everything, but
Yeah,
there
but-
is some amazing tech out there. But you're right; it comes with a hefty price tag.
Yes, that's the thing. I think that there is absolutely no reason why. And see, this is supposed to be considered a mobility scooter. You're supposed to be able to take the seat off. take the batteries out, take the bottom, and each one of these components is like 75 or 100 pounds a piece. The whole chair shouldn't weigh that much. And it's very uncomfortable to live in. So we plan on changing some of these things.
That's the right attitude. I love that. You know, you're dealing with it. You've got ideas, and by golly, you're going to move forward with it.
We are. It's gonna happen. I've got designs in my head. I mean, I've tried to explain this wheel. It's not going to make any more sense this time than it did the last time I showed it, but this is the wheel that I designed, and the wheel actually moves in and out according to what it encounters. So if you're going up, say, you come up to a sidewalk, the wheels would just collapse inside of itself and you would just like ease up onto the sidewalk like it wasn't even there. Or if a parking lot stopper would be an extreme, it wouldn't that, but something smaller in, say, that terms, it would literally just go over it. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't rise, you wouldn't even know. It would just like go right over it. And with the same premise, it could walk stairs. But everything in it is mechanical. So if it fails, it just stops. It's not going to flip you over backwards or do something weird and crazy.
It's not going to go limp or like collapse on itself. It'll just...
Right. Or if the computer fails, it's not going to start spinning in circles on the steps. You know what I mean? It's just going to stop.
Fails gracefully.
So... And I've got most of that frame designed in my head, and I plan to build it all out of carbon fiber so that it's a lot lighter, more mobile, and
start with a cheaper material for prototypes. But, yeah.
Do what?
Start with a cheaper material for prototype.
Oh, I'm going straight to carbon fiber.
Oh, you're starting with carbon. All right. You mean business.
Yeah, I've been working on this idea in my head for over 2 years. I've got a pretty good grasp on it.
I love it.
And all of you know I had no problem with mechanical things before. So it's not like I've never done anything like this before and it's going to be like a tank. No, Nancy, I started to build something like a tank once, and due to life and tetanus and everything else, it didn't ever happen. Huh? Yeah, you can drop out. You want to tell us any more about what your setup out there, Jerry? See, I had bullet points and we didn't stick to any of them.
Well, I have multiple cameras, like I said, on extensions. The idea of having my own cameras per machine over there, like for the scroll saw, and it's going to have two different angles. I have tripods and I'm taking the parts apart and hanging them from the roof so you can snap them over. I know some people that we watch doing scroll saw videos with a gooseneck, it kind of gets weird. You can't get the right angle. Mine's going to be set up just so it snaps right down. It's going to be right in place.
Nice.
I like that.
I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping it works.
Well, I mean, you've already gotten farther than I could get with it. I do want to get to one question that was on my list before we completely forget. Can you all hear the music in the background?
Yeah. You have a very touchy microphone.
I can't hear it.
The microphone's not that touchy. That band is that loud. So my question is, this is on a completely different property, has nothing to do with me, but you can hear it. Am I going to get hit with copyright issues over that music that I can't control?
You can't hear it enough. I don't think the algorithm can catch it. And they're not good enough, I don't think. It's a live band, isn't it?
Yeah. No, they're horrible.
Yeah, not good enough.
Not likely. Copyright's
So-
a whole other bag of hurt.
Yeah, well, okay, let's look at when some of these uh, X Factor, whatever these guys, these people that show up here that have been in big rock bands and the Voice and that,
drummers.
yeah, we've had big bands here. What happens when they play? When they play, you definitely gonna hear them.
It shakes the house.
It shakes the house and rattles the windows and knocks stuff off the shelves in here. This
Oh.
brewery was not here 2 years ago. It just popped up over COVID.
The question is, will you get a copyright
Or you
Claim.
know, yeah,
or strike?
a strike, right?
You know, that's unanswerable. You will get a copyright claim or strike if the algorithm picks it up or if someone manually claims or strikes you. It is up to the owner of the work. I use work as the legal term because it could be music or an image or a video or whatever the intellectual property is that's owned by someone else. It's up to them how they want to deal with the infringer, which would be you.
Okay, but I guess my thing there is I don't have a leg to stand on in that case. I didn't intentionally put it there. I am within my property and my docile. I can't stop that music from coming in here.
I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but that's not the way the law is constructed. The way the law is constructed, that statement carries no weight. You
See,
are
this is
the
crazy.
owner of the content you're putting onto YouTube, and you are responsible for the content that you
Right.
put on YouTube.
And I'm within my property. I'm not playing this music. I
Doesn't
can't
matter.
stop it from entering my space.
Doesn't matter. Does not matter.
There's other ways to handle it. Ways
And
to
again,
get you.
I
It's
don't think it's loud enough.
They're not that bad tonight, but they've been really bad. When they have one of the big bands here, it gets really loud, and that is one of the reasons why we went from 9 o'clock and backed it up to 8 o'clock because they usually end at 10. So from 9 to 10, they're extremely loud.
Look at the microphone you have. That's probably a condenser microphone. Condensers pick up everything. This is a dynamic microphone. This doesn't hear a damn thing outside of this bubble.
This is a dynamic mic.
Oh,
Those
well,
are condenser mics.
then it must be loud as all get out.
It is.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you. It's like we have a stereo on in this house.
4 days a week.
I sympathize with you, Jerry. The problem is the law will not.
Well, they might when all of us show up at this next thing because he's trying to put in an outdoor stadium now. So
Their
Oh, dear
parents,
Lord.
like,
we're gonna fight it.
complain because they can't get their kids to go
Yeah.
to sleep on school nights because they do this on weekdays.
This is crazy.
No, it was just Friday nights, Saturday nights, but now it's not just those anymore.
Yeah, see, it was one of these things where when it went in, they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna have music inside," and then they're like, "Well, we want to put a patio area for people to sit." So then all of a sudden, the little guy with the guitar came out and started singing every once in a while. Then they'd sneak a band outside every once in a while, and then all of a sudden, now
here's
it's
what you
full-on
do.
concerts.
You buy a bunch of 2x4s and plywood, and you build a big parabolic dish pointing at the venue, and that way all the sound waves will get concentrated back at them and blow out their windows.
Well, my thought to handle them, it's what I said last week, and I'll say it again this week. I'm going to take this karaoke PA system I have in here and this 10-15s and 15-10s and all this that we got, and I'm going to build 2 big boxes, and they're going to be listening to Baby Shark every night they do this.
You could
Very
probably
loudly.
contact the place and tell them there's going to be a lawsuit unless they want to go through the cost of soundproofing and rebuilding your
No,
place.
we've already tried that. They just got louder.
Yeah.
See, this is a property issue and less of a copyright. You won't win on the copyright space. You don't have a legal leg to stand on, unfortunately. Although you should.
Yeah, see, I should, because if I'm in my studio that I've built in my home,
I know.
I cannot. I mean, we've insulated. We've done everything that we could possibly do.
I get
I
it.
cannot stop this intrusive noise coming into the house.
Bass will permeate anything. You can't not consume bass. Bass goes
Polka.
through everything.
They've started a new thing called Polka Night, and they have 3 people that show up, but for 5 hours they're gonna play polka music
Oh my
really
God.
loud.
They have the dueling
Baby
pianos,
shark.
too.
I don't know what to tell you. I know a lot about copyright. I mean, my full-time job is publishing, so I know more about intellectual property, copyright, all of it, trademark, the whole thing. I know much more than I ever wanted to know about that subject, and it is a bag of hurt. It really it is people want to start YouTube because they want to grow an audience. They want to have something to say. They want to entertain people. They want to educate people. And here they're dealing with this legal issue called copyright. It sucks the life out of you. It is not fun to deal with. It is a full legal instrument. It's not something trivial. Like these copyright claims and copyright strikes and counterclaims, these are all legal actions you're taking with real world legal consequences. You know how much it goes to court? You just can't walk into court. You need representation. You're talking thousands of dollars. All you're doing is toying around on the YouTubes, and now you got to show up to court. Like it smacks people in the face that this is a very real thing you're dealing with. That's why I don't put anything I don't own on the internet, because not only do I not want the problem at that moment, this is something that can persist. People can go back to your 3-year-old video and strike. I mean, that's a lot of unanswered questions. That's a lot of what ifs. So,
Right. Yeah, I mean, we all knew this place was going in back here, but at no time did he ever let any of us know that this was going to be happening.
Not one.
Not once.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well,
Plant a
So-
double row of 15-foot high shrubbery between you and the property. Just to
no,
try
I
and
told him, well,
dampen
I
it.
didn't, but Amanda's grandma told him that I was just going to plant about 20 foot deep of bamboo, and he didn't like it because it's going to be intrusive, but once it leaves our property, I don't care.
Their music's invasive.
If I plant a 20-foot thick wall of bamboo, it should stop a lot of that noise. But you got to understand, this place is literally like 50 feet from the corner of the property right here. It's
Yeah, not
the
much
people-
you can do.
the people that are singing right now are
120 feet from the door.
120 feet from the door right here. They're just literally right down the hill.
It takes 10 seconds to walk from the door down the hill to the.
I don't know what to tell you. This is a problem, especially for a content creator.
Yeah.
It's okay if I post the name of them down there, right?
No, just leave that out of that. I'm not going to mention the name. I think some of you already know who exactly it is, but I'm not going to mention it. I'm not trying to bring the man any undue harm, you know. I wish his business well. I just wish he would not so intrusive
See,
into our home like this.
Turn the bass down.
Yeah,
Denise,
if they just turn the bass down some, the people that are down there can only get 50 feet away from the band, so why does it have to be that loud? That that's just to me inconsiderate, but that's another subject for another
Yeah,
day.
these are good questions. Denise says, so even if you're at a concert and you say you don't own the music, can you still get away with not getting it? Yeah, doesn't matter what you say. You can credit, you can say, you can put the artist in the text of the video. It does not matter. None of that matters.
Well, let's ask another question here. Are these people down here that are singing the songs not copyright infringing themselves?
That's what someone was saying.
That runs up to ASCAP BMI. The venue pays the ASCAP BMI fees, which is essentially the record conglomerate,
I
so that
guarantee
the
they're not.
artists can get fees. So they have a broadcast license is essentially what that venue has or
I
should have.
guarantee they don't. I guarantee
Yeah.
they don't.
Most don't.
Well,
It's
then
free.
that's
they're
the,
barely paying these bands. It's free. Anybody can come. They're not charging a cover charge, so I
no,
guarantee they're not paying it.
my friend owned a bar, and she would have local bands play original music, no covers. And the people came to her and they tried to get her to pay the ASCAP BMI because they said it was commercial music, and she fought it. But it's very hard not to. If they're not paying it, that's one thing. That's one leverage you can have on them, but it's not an exorbitant fee. So even if you pull a power play and force them to pay that, it's not, tens of thousands of dollars. It's it's like a bill. It's like the
Well,
electric bill, but whatever.
Like I said, what you're hearing right now and what we normally hear, they're just sitting up on the concrete with their backs
Yeah,
to us.
that's a good question. You're like, well,
Over-
they're performing it. How can they perform it, but I can't perform it on my YouTube channel when I just pick it up in the ambient sound of the room? The difference is they're paying the record company, or should be paying the record company. You are not.
Picture this in your head, a bowl in the ground, okay? This brewery sits down in this bowl. Right directly behind us, 100, 120 feet down there, is where the band has their back to us. And this is how loud it is. About another 50 feet or so to the left over there, at an angle facing the other side of the bowl and their giant metal building, they've built a big stage right there. And that's what this hearing that's coming up for is. They want to be able to finish this little amphitheater thing down here.
So are you saying the problems you're having now, the speakers are facing away from you,
Yeah.
and then this concert is going to be kind of facing in your general
Yes.
direction? Oh, you're
They bouncing
things are going to
off
get a
their
lot
metal
worse.
building
I
too.
wish you could feel it. I can literally feel the vibration in my body right now. It's vibrating the house that bad right now.
This is a homeowner legal issue.
Nightmare.
This isn't a copyright. You're not going to win on the copyright issue.
Well, then I guess I just need to quit doing YouTube. Sorry, folks.
12-inch studs.
Have you
rubber
ever
padding.
got a copyright strike from it or a claim from?
Not yet. Not from this. Not yet.
Well, you might not. I can't hear. It's not coming through the feed very much at all. As a matter of fact, I cannot hear it at all.
Yeah, they're about half as loud as they normally are.
Well,
But we'll do a hangout tomorrow night. You can come join in because tomorrow night will be the real band, and you can see what that's
oh
all
boy.
about.
Okay.
It's just absolutely crazy. But that's something that's been on my mind, and I didn't know who to ask, and I thought about that on your show one night, and then I forgot to ask it before you got off. Is can I get copyrighted for music that somebody? I mean, it's not even the original artist playing the music.
Well, see, that's just it. Copyright is two things. Copyright is replaying the original published track, and copyright is also the melody. So if you do a cover of it, you can get copyright claimed on the melody. I do cover songs on my piano that I perform myself. I'm not using any of the original music. I get copyright or copyright claimed all the time, and that's part of the law. So I hear what you're saying. It's not Motley Crue playing the Motley Crue record. It's
Right.
someone doing the cover of Motley Crue. How is that? Doesn't matter.
Did you hear Motley Crue?
No. Are they playing Motley Crue now?
No.
I think they-
Shout at the devil.
They're playing Journey right now, but they just played Motley Crue.
Ah.
That's what it was like. I thought you couldn't hear it.
I'm gonna see Motley Crue on the 12th of July. I've got concert tickets. I'm gonna see them live in person. Can't wait. Motley Crue, baby.
Open the door up, Chase. Now
Let's see here.
I'm 25 feet away from this door. He's gonna open the door.
Okay, I'll turn up the volume.
Oh, yeah, you get in trouble for that.
Close the door.
Crazy. Copyright. It is nothing you want to mess with. I'll tell you, it can really zap your quality of life quick.
Yeah. Well, I don't want that.
I know. It's a tough situation. I wish I had better answers for you. Alls I know is what the law can and can't do.
They close at 2 a.m.?
Yeah, no, they usually close at 11. The music's usually done by 10, but here in the last few weeks, they've been pushing that and not getting done till 11, 11:30.
Well, that's what you're going to do is start filming at 11:30 to 6 a.m.
Or pay the copyrights on Baby Shark and just blast it over top of it so I can have it in my background.
Yeah.
There's no way to pay the copyright for it. You would need to have a legal agreement with Warner Music, who owns Baby Shark.
Go after somebody annoying.
I'll just find another way to deal with it. If it's not that loud here. Now, see, I've gone back and watched some of my lives where I can distinctly tell what the song is.
Maybe turn down the gain of your mic. Get the mic 3 inches from your mouth. Do the gain where it doesn't pick it. There's little tweaks you can do. They're probably not ideal, but
I've got most all that turned down, about as much as I can go with it. Like you said, I can.
They make a microphone shield
I can
that's a little
turn it down
U.
like that right there,
but-
and just have to get up on top of it.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to hear any of that music now.
and now your volume's way lower. Is it
Now
sad
we get
that
up
Matt
here and
knew
talk.
who owned Baby Shark? I took a guess. I don't know if Warner Music owns a lot, and they are the worst of the worst. Warner is a horrible company. Warner
I
Media.
did get a copyright claim on YouTube Music.
Yeah. Any of those.
That was
music
so
suppliers.
crazy.
Oh,
I fought that, and what had happened was the music that was in the library got sold.
Yeah, that's a new thing that happens.
yeah. Yeah. Oh man, get me started. This sucks.
That's why I have my uncle do all my music. It's all his originals.
There you go.
Hey, got some good tunes going on now. They playing a lot of Journey right now. Until the guy opens his mouth, then I want to pick my earballs out. But
Jeez.
all right, anybody else? Go to the pet shop, buy a bunch of mice, turn them loose there, and call the health department. And we couldn't do that because
Oh, I have
Amanda
a
and
cat.
Chase's cat would go get them all and bring them back in the
Yes.
house.
Well, that, but they don't serve food.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, they don't serve food down there. They have roach coaches come in, or taco truck, whatever, food
Oh,
trucks
my.
come in every day. They just serve beer.
How long are we gonna go tonight? We've been going an hour and a half.
We can end any time now. We
Okay.
covered the main things.
I'm gonna need a break here, so okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Matt's
I
been doing these all day.
I appreciate you've been doing these all day.
This is my 3rd stream this evening, and I did one in the morning. This is technically the 4th for the day.
Well,
yeah.
I would like to have you back on again, Matt, but I think we want to be a little more structured and questioning and
I'll
know a
come
little
back
bit more
anytime
about-
you want. Thank you for having me on, Jerry, and thank you for your support, both of you.
I
Both
appreciate you
Jerry
coming.
supports me and Jerry supports me. You've both been great supporters of my work. I appreciate
The
it.
Jerry's stick together. All right. Well,
It doesn't
does
go
anybody
unnoticed.
have any questions in the chat before we end this for Matt or Jerry?
Anyone can ask me questions anytime. I have a group. Can I advertise my group?
Sure.
So if you have any questions about content creation or marketing, I have an All Things YouTube Facebook group. Just knock on the door. I'll approve you, and I answer questions in there all the time. Facebook, All Things YouTube. That's all you got to search for, and it's a group. Come play
I'm
in
looking
my
for it
little
right now. See
playground.
if I can get a link for it.
It's out there.
I've not even joined the group. Who do I want to join as?
Join, baby, join. No, it's other like-minded
Alright.
people trying to do, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be YouTube. I know a lot about graphic design. I know a lot about marketing. I know a lot about business. I know a lot about monetization. You name it. I'm out there. Oh, thank you. You put the link in the
I
chat.
put
Thank
the
you
link
for
to it.
that.
Well, I hit the thing and then I just X'd out all the questions. I didn't answer your questions. How do I go back and do it again?
I'll if
go
it
back
came
and
through, I'll approve it. Let's see if it's there.
All right, that is the link to the group that he was just talking about, All Things YouTube on Facebook. Is it ironic that YouTube instruction is on Facebook?
I thought about that. I'm like, I'm on a different platform here, but yeah, I
You know, I've thought about before. We've done it before where we just did lives on Facebook, and I thought about just ending this whole YouTube thing and sticking with Facebook. And
YouTube.
that's where I've always done the best. It's where we always drew the most people.
YouTube,
But it's also where I've got the most copyright infringements, where I've gotten in the most trouble too.
No platform is perfect, but see, the problem with Facebook is people go there for memes, they go there for groups, they go there for pages, they go there for news. People go to YouTube to watch shows.
Right.
You can't beat that, you
Right.
know. So
yeah,
stick with YouTube.
I pay the monthly subscription to YouTube, and this is my TV or my entertainment. I don't really watch
YouTube
TV.
Premium. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always pay my YouTube Premium bill every month.
Yeah, I'm not
Easy
going to
peasy.
sit there and click ads. And now, have you noticed with that here lately, every once in a while you'll get a glitch in it and it'll circle like it was going to take you to an ad and then starts playing again? It's like
It's pretty smooth for me, but
I've noticed it here in the last 2 weeks that every once in a while it'll glitch like it's going to take you to an ad and then it realizes, oh, we weren't supposed to do that, and then it goes right back to playing the video.
interesting. I'll keep an eye out.
I'm like, I'm going to be floored the first time they make me watch an ad after I paid for it. I don't care if it was a mistake or not. I'm going to be upset.
Yeah. Open a ticket.
All right, everybody. I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with us. We still have 13 people here.
All right. I love
we'll
my
be back
woodworking
again next
peeps.
week. Not 100%
I do
sure
have a
what we'll
woodworking channel.
what we'll be talking about. Yeah, we put the link to both Polly Wants a Crafter for Jerry and All Things YouTube for Matt in the chat in here.
Great.
And we've got Matt's Facebook group in here, and we have Living Beyond Disability Facebook group in here. If you're not a member of that group, you need to be, because it's where I'm sharing my story, and I've recently started sharing my past memories on Facebook, and we are at the point right now where I had been admitted to the hospital with tetanus, so that's where we are. So until next week, y'all be safe, be nice, be kind to one another, and always look out for those opportunities for that random act of kindness. And we will see you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.